Welcome to the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name is Boogie Bentley. Do we have a problem on our hands? Did we strike out in the transfer portal? We added two guys on the interior of the offensive line. We added Amari Jefferson in that wide receiver room, and then we added Star Thomas, running back from Duke. But we didn't get that big splash guy. We didn't really break the bank. Didn't feel like we were the big aggressive spenders that we talked about in the On3 article that came out back in December. So how do you feel as we roll through the end of January? The transfer portal is now closed. Tennessee won't have an opportunity to add anybody until post-spring camp. So how do you feel about this roster? Did we strike out in the portal? Let me ask you two different questions. How do we do in the portal? What do you think about the talent coming back on this team in 2025? But it's not all about the portal. It's about roster retention. Those are two different questions you guys can talk about in the comment section. But the news came out over the weekend. On3 put it out that Ohio State wide receiver Carnell Tate is returning to Columbus and not going to be entering the transfer portal. Now, Austin Price over at VolQuest said that he had heard that Ohio State went to $2 million on Carnell Tate, and he stayed. You've got the rumors out there for Jeremiah Smith that he's getting demands or offers of $4.5 to $5 million. I read an On3 article that said that he was set to earn $3 million at Ohio State next season. Pete Nako said he believes that Ohio State will be one of several select programs spending $27 to $30 million on their roster in 2025. Now, can Tennessee compete with that? Do we have the funds to spend $30 million on the football program? I don't know. You don't know. We can speculate. We can talk about it because that's what we do as fans. Now, a lot of the comments I saw over the course of the weekend were that we struck out on Carnell Tate. I mean, did we really strike out on Tate? He never officially entered the portal. Now, I would like to assume that we were one of the teams tampering there. We were one of the teams offering money to Carnell Tate. But the question is, do we have a problem on our hands? We're going to get into it. We're going to talk about it. But as always, I need you guys to do that YouTube stuff for me. Just smash the thumbs up just below the video. Quick, free, easy. It helps the channel. I would greatly appreciate it. Also, if you're new to the Talkin VAWLS Network, welcome. We're not experts here. We're not insiders. We're not media. We don't fake that. We don't pretend to be that. What we are is what you guys are. We're fans. For the fans, by the fans. We speculate on internet rumors. We talk about the news. That's what we do here on the Talkin VAWLS Network. If you like it, subscribe. Click the bell for notifications. You're not going to miss out when we go live or when we drop a video. EA Sports College Football Night is moved to Sunday nights. Had a great time hanging out with you guys last night. Sunday night, 6:30 p.m. Eastern time. But also this Tuesday, tomorrow, we're still going to go live, 7 p.m. Eastern time, Tennessee, Kentucky on the hardwood basketball game. We're going to watch it, watch party right here on the Talkin VAWLS Network. So come join us for that. But we prefer to talk about Tennessee football all day and every day right here on the channel. Now, this came out on Twitter. This kind of prompted the video here. On3 tweets out teams with spring portal needs. You can see the Vols listed there. But again, it's kind of two different questions. Did Tennessee hit a home run in the portal? No, absolutely not. What would I give them? I would maybe give them a C+. I think the addition of Sam Pendleton was huge. You had a problem on the interior of the offensive line. You fixed that. You needed another running back in the room. You fixed that. You need help at wide receiver. You got Amari Jefferson, but you didn't go get that big splash guy. I'm saying C+ for now. But again, I like this roster. I like what they're bringing back, and that's kind of what we're going to talk about here. But I do want to look at the article from On3 saying that Tennessee has post-spring needs in the transfer portal because they do. I agree with that. Let's take a look at the article here. Since Tennessee was able to keep nearly everyone it wanted during the winter portal window, hanging on to wide receiver Mike Matthews, safety Boo Carter at the last minute. You can also include Nico in that, right? You can also include Arian Carter. So if you're going to say that we struck out on Carnell Tate, a guy that never entered the portal, then you got to say we kept Nico and that we kept Arian Carter because there was some tampering going on there, allegedly. But you kept Mike Matthews. You kept Boo Carter. The Volunteers also picked up Duke transfer running back Star Thomas earlier this month following Cam Seldon's portal departure. I think Star Thomas is a nice add to this running back room. If you missed the video, Coach Jay broke down the film, the actual tape from Duke last season. Star Thomas, 6 foot, 210 pounds, led Duke in rushing, 213 carries, 871 yards, and 7 touchdowns. Again, fun film breakdown. I'll actually link that at the end of this video. If you missed the film breakdowns, go give it a watch. Go check it out. Go see what Coach Jay is all about breaking down that film. Those are fun videos, and you'll learn a little something about what Star Thomas is going to bring to the table. But we knew we needed a running back, so now you look at that running back room, and you've got Peyton Lewis, who I think could be RB1 in 2025. You got Deshaun Bishop, who's been a great running back for this offense. Can he stay healthy? And then you got Star Thomas transferring in from Duke. So I think you fixed your running back problem there. Goes on to say the Volunteers still would like to add pieces to the offensive line and wide receiver rooms. Josh Heupel's program landed Notre Dame offensive lineman Sam Pendleton, who played in 7 games at left guard in 2024 on Friday morning. Now, he didn't play in 7 games. He actually started 7 games. He played in 13 games this past season. He wasn't expected to be a starter, had a couple of veteran guys in front of him, but he played so good early in the season, played so good through fall camp. He earned a starting job. There were some injuries there that kind of shook up the offensive line, and then he lost that starting job. But he did play in 13 games, started 7 of those games. I like Sam Pendleton, 6'4", 310-pound interior offensive lineman from Notre Dame. We're going to jump back into the film room and let Coach Jay take a look at Sam Pendleton as well. Goes on to say, even Tennessee secured former 5-star recruit Mike Matthews. Even though Tennessee secured Mike Matthews, the Vols want to continue to address the wide receiver room. Brew McCoy and Dante Thornton are off to the NFL, and while Squirrel White transferred to Florida State. Now, you did add Amari Jefferson, but I get it, right? He's unproven. We were excited about him coming out of high school, but as far as college goes, he is unproven. Brew and Dante, out of eligibility. You look at the transfer portal, the guys that you lost, right? Squirrel White, Caleb Webb, Chaz Nimrod, Nathan Laycock, Nate Spillman. They all enter the portal. I mean, really, Squirrel White and Chaz Nimrod were really the only guys that gave you any type of production as far as what you lost. But what you're losing is depth. And, you know, after I saw VolQuest, after Tate ended up at Ohio State, going to return to Ohio State, there was a lot of threads about the mismanagement of the wide receiver room, how the coaching staff didn't handle that wide receiver room correctly. Now, is that the truth? Because several names that kind of floated around, right? Zachariah Branch, Nick Anderson, KC, easy for me to say, Concepcion, Micah Hudson, Barrion Brown, Dane Key. I thought Austin Price made a good point in that thread. He said that this coaching staff didn't believe Squirrel White was going to leave. They thought Squirrel was going to be back for 2025. So he left on December the 27th. Now, if you look at some of those names that I just mentioned, those names that I just rattled off, names that were floating all around Twitter that we had to go target, we had priority, make them a priority. Branch did end up at Georgia on January the 5th, but he never really seemed interested in Tennessee. Concepcion ended up at Texas A&M 2 days after Squirrel hit the portal, so maybe it was too late to get in on Concepcion at that point. But other than those two, all the other names that I rattled off, they had already committed elsewhere when Squirrel White decided to go into the portal on December the 27th. So maybe this coaching staff felt more confident in the wide receiver room, and then when they lost Squirrel, well, that's when you need to now go add another guy. So did the coaching staff mismanage the wide receiver room? Maybe. I mean, we still need a body. We still need depth. And on the flip side of that, I see people with the comments. I see people saying, Boogie, why are you talking about the wide receivers? We're fine. We're great at wide receiver. We got Chris Brazzell, Mike Matthews, Boo Carter, Braylon Staley. Yeah, those guys are good. But what happens if Mike Matthews gets hurt? What happens if Braylon Staley gets hurt? How many snaps is Boo Carter going to play on offense? You just really don't know what that room looks like. It's a physical, violent game. You get hurt, man. You don't have that much depth in that wide receiver room. What if Jordan Thomas comes in and balls out and he takes over that star position? Could we see Boo move to offense full time? But when you talk about the wide receiver room, it's all about depth. You know, I think those top 3 are pretty good. Mike Matthews, I think Chris Brazzell could take a step this year. Braylon Staley, I'm excited about his future. But you get past those guys, you're talking about Amari Jefferson, who hasn't played a single snap of college football. You're talking about Travis Smith, Rodarius Jackson, Joakim Dotson, all true freshmen. You get past that, you start looking at walk-ons. So the depth of the wide receiver room is why I can't say that this portal cycle was a success. But what can we add in, post-spring camp and when the portal window opens back up? I don't think you're going to go get the game changers at that time. But maybe we don't need the game changers in the wide receiver room. Maybe we just need depth. Maybe we need a guy that can add a body to that room with a couple of years of eligibility. You look at the offensive line, I start to get a little excited about the offensive line. Lance Hurd and Big Dave Sanders locking down your tackle positions. Of course, we've talked a lot about Pendleton and Wendell Moy Jr. I saw this tweet floating around. I like this. You look at Wendell Moy Jr., new Tennessee offensive lineman since 2023, 1,019 pass block snaps, one sack allowed. One sack allowed in over 1,000 reps, 3 quarterback hits, 88.4 pass blocking grade. You look at Sam Pendleton in 2024, 254 pass blocking snaps, 0 sacks allowed, 3 quarterback hits, 6 pressures. I think this coaching staff is making a priority out of keeping Nico clean, keeping Nico upright. And then I think you're going to see this passing offense start to have success. William Satterwhite at center obviously beat out Bison Lang. What do some of the young guys look like? Max Anderson, Gage Ginther. This coaching staff likes Jesse Perry. What about Bennett Warren, Larry Johnson? Tight end room, Miles Kitselman, Ethan Davis. You got your quarterback. You're returning a lot of talent on defense. I get it. You're losing James Pierce. You're losing Will Brooks in the secondary. You're losing a couple of guys on that defensive line. But, hey, plug and play. Joshua Josephs, Bryson Eason, Jackson Moy, Don Bailey, Tyree West, David Hobbs, Caleb Herring, Jordan Ross. The list goes on and on and on. I think the linebacker unit can take a step this year. Can Jeremiah Thielander and Arian Carter take a step? We'll see what happens with the health of Dramod McCoy, but I think Ricky Gibson, Boo Carter, obviously. Jacoby Thomas, I think, could be a dude. We're returning a lot of talent on this football team in 2025, and I get it. Some people want to pretend and say we didn't play anybody. Our schedule was a cupcake schedule. Well, guess what? We play the same schedule in 2025 when it comes to conference play. We're just flipping the home and away. I think this team has an opportunity to be a good football team in 2025. So do we have a problem? No, I think we need to add some depth in the transfer portal. What are your thoughts? Jump in the comment section. Let's talk about it. As always, smash the thumbs up on the way out the door. I would appreciate it. You can go check out the Talkin VAWLS merchandise at bonfire.com/store/Talkin VAWLS. There's also a link in the description to do that. You can also support the channel by becoming a member. Hit the join button right down there beside subscribe. It's only $1 a month to keep the lights on around here during the off season. We are grateful for your support. There's also a link in the description for that as well. Come hang out tomorrow night, 7 o'clock. Basketball game versus Kentucky. It'll be laid back, chill, hangout stream. We'll talk Tennessee football. We'll talk Tennessee basketball. We'll get into whatever you guys want to get into. It's always a good time hanging out on Tuesday nights. That is going to do it for this one, though. This is the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name is Boogie Bentley. Go Big Orange.